Well, hello, hello, hello. Good morning, you sexy heavenly creatures, you. I hope that you're doing absolutely wonderful. Also, side note, if would you guys prefer to receive these readings in the morning, like to have them actually posted in the morning? Because what I've been doing is like waking up in the morning and recording them, but then I still have to edit them and upload them to YouTube. And by the time they actually get up there with everything else that I'm doing, it's usually like the evening. So I'm wondering if you guys would prefer these daily readings to come out earlier in the day, because if so, I can start recording them either a day early or the night before. So just let me know if you would prefer that. But hello, we are here for another quickie, and we're doing this reading on when you've been trying to heal. You've been trying, okay? But what the actual fuck? You know? You've been trying. You've been sitting with the feels. You've been doing the work. You've been looking at the shadow. You're maybe in your healing era, but you can't get over that you let a motherfucker do you that way. You know? You're in that spot. And I feel like this is such a highly relatable topic. And I feel like we've all been there. And I am going to kind of mix some like lighter, kind of funnier topics and stuff like that in to these daily these little dates that we're having, these little moments together that we're enjoying these days. So this is the topic that we're doing today. So we're going to look at what the hell is actually going on. What is driving the current chaos? Even if healing work has been ongoing, what energy pattern or some sort of deeper layer is surfacing now that is making this so hard? Why this isn't a failure, it's actually a threshold that you're standing on. So we'll look at what soul initiation or turning point you might be standing in right now so that we can reframe this what the fuck moment into transformation, even if it's messy as hell, and what you need to stop blaming yourself for, so that we can release some self-punishment and invite compassion back into the process. We're going to look at what burden, expectation, or shame maybe you're holding that isn't yours to carry anymore. And lastly, where your healing is actually working. So is there a shift, strength, or a quiet miracle maybe that has already taken root, even if you can't fully see it, or even if you're still feeling the frustration a little bit more? This last card is going to remind you that growth is happening. Not all progress looks neat, tidy, and polished. And even when things feel like, why? Shit's still happening, especially if you are trying to heal, then rest assured it is still happening. Okay. So that's what we're going to take a look at. Let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. And we're going to be using this beautiful deck today, this tarot deck, but we're also using an oracle card for each placement. So I pre-pulled the cards here and have not seen them, and we're going to clarify as we go, as usual. So let's get started. Okay, what the hell is actually going on here? What is actually going on? Okay, so we've got this card with the Seven of Pentacles, the rewarded frog in the reverse. The reverse. So this is what we've got going on here. This oracle card with the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, I feel like I want to do this. Put this one here. Okay, so yeah, This looks like you've put a lot of effort into something here. You've put a lot of energy into something with the Seven of Pentacles. You have planted the seeds, so to speak. You put in the work out in the field, the toil, the labor. You know, you've been doing the damn thing, but harvest season has not yet come. So essentially, you've put all of the work into something, all of the energy, the effort, the time, the discipline. However, you have not been rewarded, quote unquote. You haven't gotten the what you were putting into this thing for. You have not gotten that result back. So whatever you were expecting or hoping for, it has not actually come to you. This card actually talks about keeping quiet. It talks about something new is coming, but not yet. So it's the need to rest, to enjoy the moment, and then let something come to you. See, she's looking at this wolf that's like way over on this hill. It's like, it's coming, but it's not there yet. So this is about, you can see something in the distance, but you don't really know if it's danger or if it is a positive message, if it's what you've been trying to call in. This is about you waiting for that to approach you or to come in without taking the initiative. And this card talks about needing to remain calm, because sometimes waiting for things to come to us without putting pressure on ourselves actually gives us the time to understand how we want to approach them when they get to us. But this is not about waiting necessarily in terms of turning off your senses or just putting the rest of your life on hold. There's still the need to remain alert, to seize all opportunities, and to understand that life is very much still happening, because you've already put the work in. So it's not like you're just waiting for something to happen that doesn't make any sense, right? So what energy pattern or deeper layer is surfacing now? I feel like it is this energy. It could be bringing up an insecurity that you have for maybe times in the past when you did give, I want to say, the best of yourself, or, you know, you really truly put the best of yourself into some sort of project, but there's either a delay or there's been a detour that something has taken and you don't have the answers. You might still feel it coming. You might see it in like the peripheral of your vision there, right? But it's not here. So to me, this energy pattern or layer that's coming up is one of anxiety surrounding already having like paid the fare, but you're not at the destination, right? You've put yourself into it in a way that you feel you can't like get that back, right? You can't return this purchase, but yet it hasn't arrived yet. So there's a lot of things that state can bring up. And some would call this a state of waiting, right? I never, ever say to wait. I will literally never in any reading suggest that you wait for anything, because energy is constantly in motion. The only constant is change. And I feel that by waiting and putting ourselves into a stagnant place, that is against the natural flow of things always, because things always want to be moving. And just because you keep moving doesn't mean you have to move away from something that you have already put your effort into. It just means not putting yourself in a stagnant or stasis for it, right? A stagnant place or a stasis, like a total suspension. So that's what I see there. I feel like that pattern is maybe coming up, and maybe this is already something that, like, maybe many times in the past you've poured into things without things that are not necessarily instant gratification. And I don't think that that's a bad thing, because I think it can be a lot more detrimental to pour into things that are based on instant gratification personally, but and they can be a lot less fulfilling. But there is this comes with its own set of stuff that it can pull up and out of you. So yeah, this could be like the healing process, right? You have invested a lot into your healing, And something is coming in because of that healing. However, it's not there yet. And so you're still in this like mess, what you're perceiving to be chaos and a difficult healing season. Maybe not seeing that what you are calling in from doing that work, it is already coming towards you, but it's just not, it's not here yet. So what I'm seeing is there is definitely something coming to you from all the effort and the energy you've put in, but it is, essentially, it's asking you to have faith and to stay calm and maybe use this time period, as I said before, to just get really aligned with how you're going to respond to what might be moving towards you. So why this is not a failure, but it is a threshold, an initiation, or a turning point. You have connection, the biome. Wow, what a powerful card to come out. And the Magician. Damn. The power is real. So, mercurial energy. And I would say Mercury energy kind of all around with the connection as well. Although this is very grounded Mercury energy. Talking about how everything is intricately interconnected in this beautiful biome or this planet, Gaia, that we are part of. And all of the living things and sentient beings and, humans on it, we are all connected. The Magician understands this innately because he understands, or they understand, that as the alchemical master, they understand that they are just energy and that all energy is interconnected. And so when they put themselves in that state of understanding, then they know that that everything is really just a tool at their fingertips that they can work with to, co-create the life of their dreams or to co-create something beautiful, even healing. So this is extremely gorgeous. Whatever you have gone through, my loves, it is absolutely not a failure. You are at an initiation point, a turning point where your soul is recognizing how powerful it truly is and how much of a manifester you actually are, how much power you have to call anything that you want to you, to be a conscious creator. Whatever this is that you have been moving through, it was about connection in some sort of way. And even if you lost connection with something here, and that's maybe what you're trying to heal from, there was energy and power that came to you from that you are going to begin to have an awareness of more deeply, even if you don't already. And this is incredibly beautiful, like very, very strong energy. I can't even tell you. That feels like a huge soul initiation, a huge level up into your magic. I mean, yeah. So some of you are entering a new phase of your spiritual path where you are a little bit, maybe you're playing more with alchemy, you're learning more esoteric information, you're being a little bit of a witch, you're being a little bit of a wizard. He's a wizard, or a warlock, or, just tapping into sacred magician energy, which is the creator in all of us. And really, all you need to be the creator is to know your power and your connection to all things. So that feels like that very much is what this was meant to push you into, to show you that you can, if you have a vision, you can create it and you will call that forward. So you may have called something to you that did fall apart, and it's because you weren't really being conscious with your manifestation. You were maybe just trying to call in like an opportunity that would make you happy. But maybe you didn't give it more intention than that. Like maybe you didn't really have a why behind how it would make you happy, or how long you wanted it to last, right? So maybe there was intention just like, I want to be happy or I want love, but there wasn't intention surrounding how you wanted that love to actually line up with you, or be in alignment with you or last, or be on the same page in terms of where they wanted to head in life, right? So there could have been something where there was not as much consciousness in the process at one point, but now as you're recognizing more power and your connection to all things, your ability to take energy and turn it and alchemize it, because it is connected to all things and can just continue moving through you as you bring more consciousness to it and intention to it and direction to it. Yeah, that's definitely you stepping into your power as you realize everything, like the tools at your disposal to truly work with. And I think that you're realizing maybe the importance of bringing more intention, like I said, and conscious awareness and presence to your power every day so that you can create as you go. So it's kind of like I'm seeing it being divided between like big manifestations and almost projects. Like, let's say you have a field, you plant all the seeds, you harvest the crop from that field. That would be like the Seven of Pentacles on a grand scale, a big project. But then here I'm seeing this being like little moments throughout the day where you're manifesting just through the way that you're engaging with the world around you, how you're thinking, the thoughts and words that you're using and putting out into the world, that kind of thing. So it's coming in as a little different, but just in terms of scale. And this really influences the bigger as well. Like the macro and the micro are tied together because, it's as within, so without. So the more that you kind of integrate this as a natural state of being and flow in your everyday life, then giving to these bigger things and trusting and having faith that they will also come through because you're so used to the little things coming through, that directly is going to be strengthened and impacted by everything that you're learning here. So that's beautiful. That's a huge threshold. Okay, what you need to stop blaming yourself for, what burden, shame, maybe expectation that you're holding or that someone else projected onto you is not meant to be carried anymore. Completion, connection and completion. They're holding this puzzle piece. And the Three of Pentacles. The three wise masters. You have the alchemical master looking over here at the three wise masters. And completion. Okay. A burden. So how are you punishing yourself here? There could be something you were trying to bring into reality as like a collaborative project with somebody else or with a group of people maybe. This can be community. Like Three of Pentacles usually talks about the need for cooperation in a group. So whether that's a creative project of some sort, whether it's work, whether it is a community or even family in some way, or a relationship even, I feel like there's something here that you were trying to bring together with someone and you were hoping to use your heads together, like bring your wisdom together to master maybe and complete something together. So you could be blaming yourself because maybe something fell apart or it completed that you expected to actually go the distance. So you maybe expected to build something or step into your power with someone else or a group of people maybe. And now you're over here standing on the threshold alone, stepping into your power, or so it seems, right? So you could feel that there's something really big here about alchemy. The way that you work with energy in regards to being able to involve other people in that and how that's going to work for you, because it feels like you're kind of in this Empress energy and the Magician, which is very strong alchemy energy. It's like the alchemical master and the alchemical mother. But you can't hold on to darkness, regret, or, disillusion or heaviness when you're leaping out into this power. So it feels like you maybe had the key to something, that you were ready to complete a cycle and move into this state of power. And it feels like maybe you wanted to take other people with you, but they were not able to join you for some reason. Let me just see. Why does this represent self-punishment, or a place where compassion needs to come back into the process? Why is this a burden that my beautiful loves are carrying here? What about this is a burden to them? The Page of Wands, the moon-scaped messenger. Well, you had a lot of hope surrounding something with somebody else or with a group of people. And that was communicated. The 10 of Cups is at the bottom of the deck, the joyous sky. So for some of you, this is family. Or for some of you, it's a community that is like your chosen family, or a partner that you were hoping to build a long-term relationship with, that maybe you fell out of alignment because you moved at a little bit different of a pace than them, or you were just, you came out of alignment, or you were maybe never in alignment. I feel like you are in your head about not sticking by someone who you know or who you feel is going through a difficult time. You could be picking up on their anxiety and their lack of stability. The thing is, I feel like they are not grounded and committed in the same way it feels like that you are. So they're not uncovering these keys that they would need to be standing on the same threshold as you. It feels like they are in a state of, there's a cycle they haven't closed out. And they're in a state of indecision about that. I think intuitively they know what they need to do, and they know the confidence needed, but they're kind of content where they're at, not moving. Like, they're not saying yes to the call. And so they're not getting out of what, they're not getting what they would get from answering the call. So they're in a stagnant energy here, and you are not waiting. You see something coming towards you, and it feels like this is like you're waiting for the train. You're going to catch the train here. This could be what's kind of holding you back in your healing, though, is like you were with your best friend, and they got stuck and the train came, like they got stuck in traffic and the train came, and it's like you had to catch the train without them. Or, I don't know. Something about the people that you are working with or trying to include, there's a burden or an expectation or a shame for almost completing something and moving on without them. And that's not yours to carry. If they wanted to move forwards, then they would. That is their responsibility. You can't be like dragging the weight of a dead body behind you, right? Because they're not making up their mind to choose empowerment, or because they're just not moving in the same direction as you. And that's not even necessarily a diss on them. It's just, if you're not moving in the same direction, or you don't have the same kind of perspective or goals as somebody else, then, even if you feel yourself moving forwards into a powerful and abundant space, and you feel in contrast them being anxious, there is nothing you can do about that. That is up to them to release themselves or set themselves free from that, right? So I feel like that's something that you need to stop blaming yourself for, or even completing a phase that a lot of people around you are still in, or completing a cycle, or I'm hearing like a program. So this could even be like religion. It could be tradition. It could be something where like your family is still very much in the matrix, or they're in like this little tiny restrictive box, and they're like, this is how you live and this is the only way. And if you ask questions, don't ask questions. No questions allowed. And I feel that you're over here very much taking the lid off of Pandora's box, but magic is spilling out of it. Potential and possibility is spilling out of it. And it feels like whatever's over here, they're more comfortable staying inside that box or underneath those glass ceilings they're not ready to complete or break out of whatever it is that you have moved through. And again, that's okay. I'm seeing 4, 4, and then 4 over here as well. 4, 4, 4. And then also here reflected, there's 4, 4, which is 8, and then 8 right above it. So that's interesting. 8s and 4s might be, or like multiples of 4 might be significant for some reason at this point for you. So let's look at where your healing is actually working. What shift, strength, or miracle is actually taking root that maybe you haven't been able to see, or maybe it is progress, but because it doesn't look neat and polished and tidy, you're not really registering it as such. Okay, this is an extra card in this deck. I don't know how to say that word, but it's like a dream catcher, but it's a shadow dream catcher. It says on this card, I'll show you up close. I'm not going to destroy that word by trying to say it, but it came out in the reverse with this card here, this oracle card. My Rottweiler is whining outside in his kennel. He is literally the biggest baby. I'm gonna go let him in after this. He's been out there for like an hour and he's like, why am I missing out on all the things going on inside? Meanwhile, what's going on inside? I'm literally just doing a reading and everyone else is asleep. So the only other person here is my stepdad, and he has, he's dealing with some really bad kidney stones right now. So he is out for the count. And Django's like, I'm missing the action. Buddy, there's no action happening in here. Okay, so the shadow dream catcher. Well, I feel like you're releasing a lot of shadow that was caught in a web or a net, or I'm almost seeing this as like your unconscious or your subconscious being cleaned out. So that's why it's kind of feeling like it's a phase of waiting, because something is happening under the surface. As something else gets closer, it feels like something is being purged to make room for what is coming. So it's like a cycle that's happening, something coming in, something moving out. And it's coming in as very cyclical. Something has been completed so that you can connect with something else, right? You broke away from something that you were not aligned with to step into a new level of alchemical mastery. Something is clearing out, but it hasn't quite cleared out yet, but it is working. And then the reward for something else is going to come in to fill that space. So that's what I'm seeing. This card talks about sleeping with the darkness. So it talks about your subconscious relaxing and getting ready to welcome that which cannot live in the light, because it is instinctual or it is dark. It might be negative thoughts or shame, or us believing that we have done some sort of evil thing that we cannot live with, but we need to learn to live with. So this is very much about living with your shadow, sleeping with the darkness, and being able to coexist with it peacefully because you know your shadow. So watch your shadow and observe yourself. Try to understand when your shadow is hungry. The shadow is kind of the wolf here in this card, and the dark sky there. So when is your shadow hungry? When does she want to take over? In what situations is she dormant? And then when, by contrast, is she chomping at the bit to make herself heard or known? This is really about knowing your own shadow, and that being essential in order to use it as strength and not fall prey to it. So not just knowing that it exists and without erasing it, but also understanding where it comes from and why, in order to be in a state of tranquility and empowerment or dominion over that. So with the shadow dream catcher coming out with this card that talks literally about getting to know your own shadow, this is the healing that is happening. You are integrating your shadow in a very serious kind of way at this time, and it's through this phase of sitting with it, of witnessing it. So you could be in a phase right now where you feel like not a lot is going on, where you are forced to rest. Maybe you are on a vacation, or maybe you're sick, or you're just exhausted, a little bit under the weather, dealing with something, or maybe just like you've been wanting to spend time with people, but everyone is busy. Whatever it is, this period of rest, or this period of not waiting, but kind of feels like waiting, it's serving a purpose. I feel like within it, you actually have been sitting with your shadow, speaking with your shadow, observing your shadow, holding space for it. Is there anything else you want to say here about what healing is actually working in regards to this shadow? And so here, it's not like you're casting it out, but it's like it's the unhelpful elements of the shadow are being transmuted and released through bringing conscious awareness to them and then becoming the master over that energy, the alchemical master. So seeing the energy that you have to work with, both light and dark, realizing none of that is bad. All of it is good. All of it serves a purpose. Both dark and shadow, or light and shadow energy, are necessary. So we don't ever want to eradicate the shadow. That would actually make us less powerful, but we do want to know it, understand it. Where is it coming from? How can it sometimes get in our way? And then how can we use it through our knowledge and friendship with it to kind of become more integrated into our entire being and become a source of further strength and power for us. So where is this working, or what else do you want to say about that, the shadow here? So whatever situation it is that you're healing from, it could have brought a lot of shadow up in you as well. Or maybe after it left, after something was completed, now in the absence of that direct connection to that thing, it's feeling distant from you, and it's forcing you to, like, some of this shadow is coming up for you to face in that time. So I don't know if this is the same thing coming back around in a different state, like if it's gone away and it's coming back, or if this is something new that's coming in to take that place, but take it how it resonates for you, okay? You may not really know yet. Is there anything else you want to say, a message that I can leave my lovely collective with? Okay. The Ten of Swords in reverse, the barren desert. Yeah. What's happening here is that this is a lot of heaviness. This is a very heavy energy with the Ten of Swords. Literally, the barren desert is like you're picking on the scraps of what is left. You're just getting the last bit of meat off the bone. You're basically in vulture mode. But the vulture does clean things up, right? So it's still serving a very strong purpose. It's just not, it doesn't feel super comfortable. But there is something that you're purging out, and I feel like it is heavier emotions. It could be resentment. It could be pain. This could be resentment and shame even towards yourself for something. But I do feel like it's tied to some sort of collaboration or connection with another person. But it could be someone that hurt you, or you that hurt someone, or just a situation where you really genuinely wanted to bring it together, and for whatever reason it didn't align or it fell apart. You are still connected to this as you're connected to all things. So part of this is also about healing through focusing less on perceived division and differences between you and something, even if you're experiencing a difficult time with that, and becoming more empowered through seeing that you are more alike ultimately than you are different, because you are all part of this consciousness, this creation that is connected. We are all human, right? And every human is simultaneously a good person capable of bad things and a bad person capable of good things. That's just a person, right? So yeah, it's almost like you're finding grace and understanding for yourself here. And I think that you could even find more grace and understanding for yourself through finding grace and understanding for someone else as well. It kind of feels like that your forgiveness of someone or a situation, maybe you're holding space, but also at the same time not holding the burden. Like, release the burden, but find maybe gratitude for the space that this situation put you in, or just where you chose to take yourself from this situation, right? Because ultimately you are the one who has been choosing to do the growth and to do the work coming out of a difficult situation. So you are healing. Something very powerful is going on. Something is on its way to you because of what you've worked through. But right now is just about sitting with the shadow and the chaos and realizing, like, chill, it's just chaos. It's okay. The only constant is change. So technically, life is chaos. It's nothing to fear. We're literally space dust on a hurtling rock through, the cosmos. It's gonna be all right. Trust me. If we've made it this far, we're gonna keep on going. And I understand, though, when you're in this situation where it's just like, look, I'm doing the best that I can do, but what the actual F? Like, I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere. I feel empowered sometimes, but then I get sucked back into my connection to maybe something I've already closed out and my sad or difficult feelings surrounding that, or I get sucked back into my desires or expectations for something that brings up some shadow. All of this is happening for a reason, and all of it is part of the healing process. So you're exactly where you're meant to be. And even though it's not linear or neat and tidy, this is the healing process. This is the human condition. This is life, and you're doing great. Okay, you're doing great. I love you so very much. That's your message for today. I'll talk to you guys again very soon, but yeah, I'm sending you lots and lots of love and warmth and healing vibes. All right, mwah. Have a wonderful night or day whenever this finds you, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye, my loves.